This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. Do you ever have this? You eat something and just feel bloated, maybe gassy. What's going on there? Never happened before. Or maybe it does occasionally and you're not really sure. Or maybe you have reflux. A lot of us do. Sometimes all the time. Sometimes it just kind of pops up. You try to decide what, maybe you ate something, you're not really sure. We're going to talk about digestion challenges today with somebody who provides nutrition counseling and even medical nutrition therapy to help people with many different challenges, from diabetes to digestion issues. And she is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, certified diabetes care and education specialist, certified LEAP therapist, and so much more. And she is back with us, Abby Black, on the program today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Doing okay. I'm trying to think if I ate anything that didn't agree. That was last weekend, actually.
Aw.
Why does it happen that it just out of nowhere affects you? And then you might eat the same thing a month later and you're perfectly fine. What do you think's happening?
That's the tricky part, is when it doesn't happen consistently.
Mm,
Because if it happens consistently and you can pinpoint it down to one food, it makes your life so much easier, because, okay, then maybe temporarily we need to avoid it and then can try it back in a few months. But when it isn't, when it's so inconsistent, it makes it challenging, because we've got to look at all the variables to decide, well, what is it that made us not feel good? What did make us feel bloated or gassy? And is there any way to replicate it so we can pinpoint down to the exact food with that? So it definitely makes it challenging as we get older. Our body isn't working as well. And so that can have a part into it. Or we may just start to develop food sensitivities. If we have gut dysbiosis, then that can lead into leaky gut. And that can then, where we used to be able to tolerate these foods just fine, we're not tolerating that right now. So we've got to work on that and get that better.
leaky gut. Heard about
Mhm.
it, sort of have an idea what it is. Let's go there. You open the door. Let's talk about that.
Sure. So leaky gut, the easiest way to describe it is, number one, you don't want a leaky gut. Okay. So anytime you think of like a car and different fluids are leaking, that's not a good thing. So the same with our body. When you have a leaky gut, what's happening, everything should be staying in the digestive tract, but it's going outside of that into blood, into just areas that there should not be food there. And that's what's causing then more symptoms, and you're not feeling good. You could have more tiredness, you could have more bloating, gas, you could have either constipation or diarrhea, migraines. There's all sorts of different symptoms that can occur because of that.
I'm getting agita just hearing, thinking about, food leaking into your body from how serious is this, or how serious can it be?
It can be serious as far as how severe it is. And so if that is leading to you just not able to eat anything because you're having such intense challenges and pain, then that's something we definitely, need to look at right away. So that way it doesn't lead you into malnutrition. So we definitely don't want to take this
Mm.
as like, oh, it's no big deal. We want to take this seriously.
I never even thought of it that way, that you might not be getting the nutrients you need because of it. I'm thinking more of a toxicity situation where
In your body. Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
out. It's your food is not where it's intended to be,
Right.
and by the
That's
time
not good.
it's not good. And by the time it gets to where it could be with leaky gut, it's in a different form. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow. How do they test for
Yeah.
this?
So there are a lot of different tests. Typically, if somebody is having challenges with different foods and like getting back to, oh, I used to tolerate it just fine, but now all of a sudden I'm having these symptoms with it. We can do food sensitivity testing. And like that is what I utilize for a lot of my clients. I just actually did my own food sensitivity testing a week ago again, just because I'm like, I feel like there's inflammation in my body. I want to get that down. And so I can pinpoint specifically which foods to have at first and then gradually increase the foods to get to a point where my body isn't recognizing, okay, that food is going to automatically trigger inflammation.
I'm hearing from you what sounds like a food journal. Keep a food journal to know what
Mm-hmm.
you ate. Because if you ask me, I had nachos
Right.
at 10:30 on Saturday night. From what I remember, they weren't even good. It wasn't even worth it, to be honest with you.
That's hard.
Yeah, I
It's not
woke up the
even
next.
good.
No, I know it was bad. It was bad, and I woke up the next day, and it's just like I wasn't feeling that great.
Uh-huh.
Needed some extra sleep anyway, but um, keeping a food journal sounds like it could be very impactful.
It can be helpful to a point. I would say for someone that has disordered eating or eating disorders, keeping a food journal can actually be triggering and make things worse.
Mm,
Um, and sometimes you can get disorder eating, eating disorders in addition to gut issues. So we have to be careful with that. But in general, typically a food journal is the way to go. And I don't mean by using a scale in the kitchen to measure your food. I definitely don't want that. I'm talking more of like take pictures. I'm all for if my clients forget to take a
mm.
picture, I'm like, send me half a plate full of food. I'm good with that. Just take a picture so I can see more of what you're eating. That helps me get a better feel for the portion sizes, the foods they're eating. And then also I have
Wow.
them write down symptoms. So that way we can really try to correlate together, if at all possible, what the challenges are.
I don't know why I never thought of that. Sending pictures. What a genius idea. I mean, the food journal
It's great.
is good.
Yeah.
You can write things down. That's going to help
Hmm.
you remember what you ate, but nothing's going to be
Hmm.
better than a food picture. And
Exactly.
you can even keep that in one directory on your phone. You can label it
Right.
the day, the time. You can even trace back to it.
Hmm.
You're
Yeah.
smart. Why am
I didn't invent it. I will say that. I can't get the credit there. But
how did
yeah,
I not think of that? I don't know what is going on here because
it's okay.
it's genius though. Because not even just if for somebody to send to you, just so we can see what you ate. Um,
Right.
factoring out the eating disorder thing you mentioned,
Sure. Sure.
totally got that.
Hmm.
It really illustrates like you can't run from it.
Right.
How many espresso martinis did you have over the weekend? Well, I can't
Uh-huh.
remember. Oh, well, but
Yeah.
you have to hold the commitment. If
Right.
if you go, it's going in your mouth. The picture needs to be taken and documented.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think a lot of times being a dietitian, some people get scared to give me what they're eating. And I'm like, I am not judging you at all. That's not my role. That's not what I do. I
Yeah.
just want to help you. And clients realize that the more honest they can be over time, the more helpful that we can work together to make things better for them.
So I'm going to pivot for just a moment, and we're going to get back into digestion challenges, but fasting. Is
Mhm.
this a good thing? I'm hearing more and more just 3 days or, intermittent if you could do it a few days out of the week. What do you think?
So for some people, if you look at intermittent fasting, it has been beneficial. For the long run, long haul, looking at it, okay, is this sustainable long term? That's
Hmm.
individualized. So definitely, I think it always throws up red flags to me when I have someone that has disorder eating or eating disorder that's fasting, because that can just actually trigger eating disorder behaviors. So we have to be really careful with that. For someone that is wanting to utilize that as a lifestyle plan, we really need to look and see, okay, within the window of when you're eating, are you able to get the nutrients you need to give you the energy to make it through each day?
Hmm. Does your body repair itself during the
Mhm.
fasting process? Is
It
that
can
what's going
repair
on?
itself during fasting, but honestly, you don't have to fast just for your body to repair itself. It's continuously working on repairing itself. So, for example, if you're working out, you're kind of breaking down, the muscle, things like that. You've got to kind of rebuild and repair that afterwards. So that's where you get into, okay, have some carbs and protein after working out so you can kind of rebuild and repair that scenario. So it's not
Hmm.
even a fasting scenario. You can just do it anytime, really.
How do we do that? Let's go there.
Okay.
You want to take care of your body optimally, excuse me,
Mhm.
have it, rebuild, whatever it might be, what should you be doing?
So if you're looking at it from the activity perspective, we want to make sure one that ideally you don't want to be fasting right before you're doing activity because then you're not going to have that energy on board to get you through whatever that workout may be.
Yep.
And then afterwards, you really want to make sure that you are, again, supporting your needs, replenishing your body with that nourishment to get you back on track, to get you fueled for the next duration of energy and just to go throughout your day.
Back to digestion issues.
Hmm.
Reflux, that's a big one.
Yes.
What can you share with us?
So with reflux, a lot of times there are trigger foods, meaning that these particular foods tend to cause more challenges with reflux. So that's going to be more of your acidic foods, so like tomato sauce, or your citrus foods like lemons, limes, oranges. Other examples are spicy foods, chocolate, tea, coffee. Those are some of the main ones. Some people do tend to find that with fattier foods that causes reflux too, but that's not for everyone. But those main food sources are usually challenges, so it's going to cause more reflux. Also, too, if you have reflux, you have to make sure that ideally you wait at least an hour and maybe even 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. Excuse me, before eating. You want to eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, just so you're not eating right away and then laying down because it's going to make it even more challenging.
I want to talk about that real quick.
Hmm.
You said 2 to 3 hours. What is
Hmm.
optimum? If you can pull it off, when should your cutoff time be eating dinner versus when you go to sleep?
Optimum is a great question. Realistically, you may be able to get by with an hour before you go to bed.
Huh.
I really like to have it be a little bit longer, just so you're not trying to digest while you're trying to sleep and while your body is, again, trying to do so many other processes while you sleep. So it's not simultaneous.
I'm shocked to even hear that because I thought that you really had to give it hours minimum, like three, before you go to bed. Um, because I've gotten in the habit, I don't know if I shared, of eating late at night, like a snack before I go to bed. I know why I'm doing it. I figured that out, which
Mhm.
maybe I should share because it's interesting why we eat.
Mhm.
So I used to do morning radio decades, and I would come home around 12 noon, got to eat lunch. I'd have lunch, I'd take a nap, like an hour. Need to recharge, all good. I found myself eating late at night now before bed. Like I'll have dinner, but then, let me just get a little snack. Let me get a little something in the refrigerator. It could be, spoonful of, cottage cheese. It could be a spoonful of jelly, whatever it is. Just, I need a little something. Part of me is like, you deserve this, dude. Go for it. Another part of me is like, why are you doing this? And I looked at it and I think it's because my brain is going back on it's time to sleep. Eat a little something before you go to sleep. You'll sleep better. I really do.
Mhm.
And I'm bringing that up to illustrate why we do what we do. When you start looking at it and analyzing it,
Mhm.
usually isn't there a reason? We're not just eating something because we're eating it. We're not just eating at a certain time just because. We have a relationship with food.
Mhm.
Isn't there deeper
Right.
things going on there that we might not even realize?
Definitely. And just even that habit of eating a snack every evening, whether you are truly that physical hunger or if it's more of like a comfort hunger,
Comfort
head
hunger.
hunger, heart hunger, whatever it may be,
Mm.
it's just getting into that habit. So we kind of have to take a step back to look and see, okay, so we're having this snack every night. Is it because we're truly hungry, or we're going to bed and we wake up because we're so hungry because we didn't have that snack? Or is it just because it makes us feel good? And that's what we've got to differentiate. Sometimes we are going to eat when it's not that physical hunger, and that's okay. We just want to make sure that we're not always eating when it's not a physical hunger.
Hmm. Comfort hunger. I've never heard that
Mhm.
term used before, but it's so clear. Like it really describes why we eat for comfort. And
Mhm.
been tons of comfort foods identified, mac and cheese. Why? Goes back to your childhood, right? Most of us, that was a thing. What kid didn't like mac and cheese at some point when they were younger? Um, do we do that a lot and not even realize it?
Yes,
Hmm.
we do. We don't even, a lot of times, don't even pay attention to it until we really sit down and try to take it more in depth as far as, okay, what's going on and what are we associating with, oh, I had a stressful day and I tend to go eat this food, or I had a stressful day and I didn't. We put a lot of relationship with that food relationship together, not just with hunger, but again, with our emotions.
Hmm. How about some other digestion issues? What can we talk about?
There's a lot of
I
digestive
know.
issues, honestly.
I know.
There's so many.
Let's go random here.
Okay.
Diverticulitis. I've heard
Okay.
people diagnosed with that. I had a
Hmm.
touch of it, I want to say a few years ago.
Hmm.
It didn't really affect me. I think maybe it showed up in a,
In a scan, probably.
yeah, yeah, or maybe it was colonoscopy or something like that.
They would see
What
that.
is
Yep.
it? What should we do for it or about it?
So diverticulitis, that's when you have that inflammation in that moment. When you're not inflamed, then it's diverticulosis. So diverticulitis, sometimes people have sensitivities to certain foods that are triggers. Honestly, as far as what the main triggers were and what people were told for decades upon decades to avoid, there isn't the research necessarily behind that. So
Well,
we have to be careful of kind of where we're getting the information from. Is it a reliable source and has it been researched fully to make sure we're not just continuing the recommendations that were never scientifically based to begin with?
what exactly is it? I heard it's something with the lining of your digestive tract and where little particles of food get caught there or something like that.
Yeah, like basically a pouch. You don't want the pouch because food is getting stored into that place. So that's not definitely not what you want. And
What
you
is
want to try to
creating
work on
that?
getting it healed. There are a lot of different reasons why you could have, getting back to the gut dysbiosis, for example, if we're having challenges with our gut microbiome, being able to fuel that properly. Stress is another one, depending on what we're eating. There are so many different aspects that could be leading to that.
Mm. I was told back then to lean off of eating things that don't easily digest and can be little particles, like, for example, eating peanuts or eating
Peanuts or
seeds and things
corn
like
or
that.
seeds. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
because
Yep.
it'll break up, but there's always little tiny pieces that can
Hmm.
potentially get caught in some of those pockets or whatever they are
Right.
in your tract.
Yeah. Yeah. And they say that right when you're in that moment of diverticulitis, again, as some of the research has kind of been disputed in regards to those specific foods too. So,
Wow. All right, spin the wheel of digestion issues. Where's it landing on?
oh my goodness. There's so many. I think one thing to keep in mind with digestive issues is really trying to make sure that we're paying attention to bowel movement regularity, because a lot of people struggle with having diarrhea or constipation or both of them. So we've got to work together to figure out, one, make sure we're getting enough fluids, because if you have a lot of fiber but not enough fluids on board, it's going to cause constipation.
Mm.
And if you feel like, oh, I'm not eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, all those different foods, beans that can give you fiber, don't do it overnight for sure. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself at least a 2 week time frame to slowly increase your fiber with water, to get your body to handle that appropriately.
What about gross alert for some? Here it comes. What about your bowel movements and changes in them? How do you know what is normal, what is not? Every day is not going to be the same. Let's be honest. It's just, I think an impossibility. Your body's different one day. You eat something
Mhm.
different one day. There's always going to be variations in there. But what is normal variation? I don't even know if we can even explain that.
Right. Yeah, I think, like you said, it's going to be different every day. At the same time, though, each person knows kind of what their regular bowel habits are. So maybe
Yeah.
some person, one person may get up right when they wake up and have a bowel movement and go on with their day. Maybe another person has a bowel movement a couple times a day. If you're having, though, 6 or 7 bowel movements a day, or you're having really loose stools very often, we need to get that checked out,
Mm.
because that's not what should be happening. Because if you're having so many bowel movements, or you're having more like diarrhea, you're not going to be able to necessarily digest and absorb all the nutrients that you're bringing in when you are eating your food.
And let's get this out of the way. It's
Okay.
okay to go twice a day, right? Maybe,
Yes.
three,
Yes.
maybe, depending on the day. That's I've heard that's more normal than just going once, or should be a goal to go multiple times.
It depends again on the person.
Yeah.
So, sometimes people have difficulty actually getting all of the bowel movement excreted. So,
Hmm.
kind of feeling like you truly have nothing left. So, that's a challenge where a person may need to go multiple times in a day just to feel that they fully um, removed all of the feces from their body. For others, if they only go once, that's normal. So
Sure.
again, I really look at each client to say, okay, what do you typically do? So we can look at that. Or if is it changing color, anything like that. Those are definitely signs we want to get it looked at.
For sure. Yeah. And I just want to bring that up because, some people, it could be, you might have a few days where you went twice and then you get alarmed like, oh, something's wrong. Something. No, that's okay. As
Okay.
long as
Yeah.
it's fairly consistent. Again, there's going to be variation, but
Right.
fairly consistent with your body. And you better than anybody
Right.
else.
Hmm.
Wow.
Right.
Learning a lot here today, gotta tell you. So interesting. How do we connect with you, Abby, if somebody is looking to, and you don't dispense medical advice, you help people along the way in terms of their nutrition, counseling, coach them what they should be eating, not eating, getting on a, proper program. Don't ever use the word diet. Not going there with that word.
No.
Just not a fun word.
No.
How do we find you? How do we connect with you?
So you can go on my website. It's abnutritionsolutions.com. And on there, you can fill out a form to connect with me via email, or you can call me or text me. And that is 269-369-2347.
And you have many, many different solutions, many different programs, call them products, right? It's because it's very individualized, whatever somebody's
Right.
goal is.
Right. Yep,
It,
exactly.
Speaking about products, I just saw on your website, you literally do have products, like different ones to support. Interesting, interesting. Um, right down to hydration. So I guess that's electrolytes would put
Hmm.
in your water.
Yeah, you can do electrolytes. Yeah, there's a lot of different things. I mainly am working with clients on nutrition, but also we get into, okay, if you are just not able to meet your needs, then we look at different nutrients as far as vitamins and supplements if necessary.
Final question. Saw the product here. Always wondered what the heck it is. I take it. I don't even know what I'm taking. Don't
Okay.
laugh.
No,
Um,
no.
I don't even know how to say it. CoQ. I
Okay.
take CoQ10.
CoQ10. Yep.
Yours
Yep.
is 100. So that's 100 milligrams? I guess minus 10. I guess
It
I have to check.
depends. There's on the website, there's different products on there, and there's different dosages or different amounts with that.
Okay.
So it just depends on that. But that is helpful
What
for
is
your
it?
heart. Yeah, it's helpful for your heart. Also, if someone is taking, instead of taking like a statin, for example, they were referred by their doctor to take like red yeast rice. You want to take that, the Q10 with the red yeast rice, because it takes it away. So it's something that you have to make sure that what you are doing isn't depleting some other nutrient while you're taking it.
Wow. Okay. And I've also often heard too, you can take it if you're on a cholesterol lowering med. There are sometimes side effects, muscle aches and things like
Muscle
that.
aches. Yep.
This will help relieve that. How? I don't even know how that works, but they suggest taking it. Wow. Again, learning a lot here. Once again, what's your website?
It's abnutritionsolutions.com.
Thank you for today. Thank you
Thank
for all
you.
the insight. Always great talking with you. You're like a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate that. Looking forward next time we get together.
Thank you so much.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.